and welcome. It's the last big election in the Hindi heartlands before the Lok Sabha election. Chhattisgarh is done, dusted, Madhya Pradesh is over. What does Rajasthan look like? On this week's edition of the Political Stock Exchange, we will dive deep into the electoral data of Rajasthan and try and decode whether the roti palatne ka trend will continue. Will the government get flipped over after 5 years, as has been the trend in the last 3 decades? Or could this time the magician spin a different story, do some jadoo? We look at that on the PSC this week, and that's my top focus.
Stage set for Rajasthan rumble. Who has the edge in state of war? Will women voters hold key? Will swing states swing again? Who will win Battle Royale? Political Stock Exchange. Big focus on Newstrack.
Campaigning in the battlefield of Rajasthan is at its peak. Before we dive into the Political Stock Exchange data, let me take you through all the political blows the BJP and the Congress rained on each other today, all through the day in the Rajasthan elections.
यहाँ की कांग्रेस सरकार के लिए भ्रष्टाचार से बड़ा कुछ भी नहीं है। यहाँ की कांग्रेस के लिए परिवारवाद ही सब कुछ है। यहाँ की कांग्रेस सरकार तुष्टीकरण के अलावा कुछ नहीं सोचती।
सवाल उठता है कि देश में बीजेपी नफरत क्यों फैलाती है? बीजेपी का सिस्टम आपका ध्यान बेरोजगारी और महंगाई से हटाने के लिए नफरत पे ले जाता है।
एक कांग्रेस पार्टी और गांधी परिवार भारत की राजनीति के राहु और केतु है। भारत के भविष्य पर जितना भी ग्रहण है, ये गांधी परिवार और कांग्रेस के कारण ही आए।
The state of Rajasthan has had the tendency of flipping governments every 5 years. People, when you talk to them in the state, say, yahan to roti palatti rehti. Every 5 years, they just like to flip the roti over. Not necessarily so much to do with just the performance of the government, but just the fact that they want to keep their netas on their toes. They just get unhappy. They want change, and they're constantly seeking change. Will that trend repeat itself in Rajasthan, or could this time be different? To talk about the electoral dynamics of Rajasthan, I'm joined on this broadcast. I want to welcome first Shehzad Poonawalla, national spokesperson of the BJP. Shehzad has been in Rajasthan, part of the BJP's campaign for the last several months. We have Rohan Gupta, national spokesperson of the Congress party. With me is lead psephologist at Sea Voter, Yashwant Deshmukh. With me in the studio is, we've got with us in the studio Amitabh Tiwari, political strategist, election analyst, researcher. He's been writing a lot for India Today on the elections. And last but not least, I want to welcome Rohit Parihar, who heads the India Today magazine bureau in Rajasthan. I want to walk across to the election intelligence dashboard and give you a sense of the relative strengths and weaknesses of the different players in the field. Remember, the tendency in Rajasthan has been for Ashok Gehlot to lead the Congress to a hammering. So in both the occasions when he's been chief minister in the past, he's led the Congress to a big defeat. Could that get repeated? And part of the reason why the Congress tends to lose big in Rajasthan is because of how many weak seats they have. So I'll start by showing you the strength scan of the Congress and the BJP. Now remember, in the seats that are classified here as safe are those seats which have been won by that party in every election for 3 elections. So the BJP has 28 safe seats. Now if you won a seat 3 times in succession, strategists in that party think, ye seat to apni jeb mein hai, we're likely to win this seat. 77 are relatively safe seats, which the party would think that they have a very good chance of winning because that party has won that seat twice in 3 elections. So the BJP has almost 100 seats, 100 seats plus, which they've won in every election or, in 2 elections out of 3 elections. The BJP has 19 weak seats in Rajasthan and 76 relatively weak seats. Relatively weak are those seats which have been won by that party only once in 3 elections. So they've got 76 relatively weak seats, but 28 safe seats and 77 relatively safe seats. Now, if I look at the Congress's numbers, remember, the BJP has 28 safe seats. When I show you the Congress data, the Congress has only 5 safe seats, which means the Congress has only 5 seats in Rajasthan, which they can claim, ye to apni pocket mein hai. For the rest, they have to fight. The Congress has 53 weak seats, which they haven't won in any election in the last 3 elections. The BJP has 60 relatively safe seats, which means these are seats that the party has won twice in the last 3 elections, and 82 relatively weak seats. Now, 53 weak seats versus the BJP having 19 weak seats, so less than half that number, which shows you the BJP has more strong seats and lesser weak seats. So basically, in terms of the electoral dynamics, the BJP would feel, especially because the Congress has been in power, that this time they're in with a chance. I want to show you, just to refresh your memories, what happened in the last Lok Sabha elections, in the last assembly elections. The Congress had picked up 100 seats, the BJP 73, others, lots of independents winning, lots of rebels, 27 seats. As far as the votes are concerned, both parties had relatively similar vote share, close to 39% each, even though the Congress's seats were many more. Congress, 100 seats versus 73 for the BJP. So that said, let's kickstart this discussion. And I want to go across to Amitabh Tiwari first. Amitabh, the data suggests that it seems it's like Madhya Pradesh. In Rajasthan as well, the BJP has more safe seats and fewer weak seats. So if this is cricket, they've got more areas where they think they are strong, lesser areas where they think they are weak. That means 5 years later, do you think it's more likely that the trend of roti, palatne is likely to repeat?
It's a strong trend, so there must be a strong reason why this is a trend.
What's your sense?
And this fascinating data shows the structural challenges which the party faces. And here, surprisingly, the party has been in power in 2 out of last 3 elections. Despite that, the Congress party is structurally weak here. When it wins, it barely scrapes through, or may not even scrape through the simple majority mark. But when it loses big time. Whereas when BJP wins, it wins by record margins, and when it loses graciously, because in the 70s and 80s. What also happens is that there are 52 swing seats, which swing like a pendulum between the Congress, BJP, and
I can show that to our viewers right now. I'll show you the swing seats. Now, the seats that we are calling swing seats are those seats which have swung between both parties in every election in the last 3 elections. Now, there are different ways of classifying these, but in the seats that India today has classified as swing, as I say, in the last 3 elections, they've changed hands. So if they were a BJP seat in one election, became a Congress seat in the other, back to BJP, or in any sequence. So they are swing seats. The Congress had won 95 swing seats last time, 45 BJP, which essentially means that if the tendency of these seats being swing seats continues, many of these 95 seats might switch over to the BJP, which is the point that Amitabh Tiwari is trying to make, that if the trend of swing seats continues, that again seems to suggest advantage BJP.
Yeah, and another fascinating data is that in the past 4 elections, only 38% of sitting MLAs who have contested have won the election. Congress party's strike rate of sitting MLAs is just 25%, whereas BJP's is 50%. Here, the ticket denials will come into focus. Congress has denied tickets to very few, I think less than 20% of its MLAs, whereas in Chhattisgarh, the number was higher at 30%.
Okay, Yashwant Deshmukh, looking at this data, it's very clear that there are structural deficiencies in the manner in which the Congress vote share is organized. they tend to scrape through when they win and lose big if things aren't going their way. Given the infighting, given the anti-incumbency, do you think the roti paratna trend is likely to continue, or because of all the social welfare of Ashok Gehlot, could this time be different?
Well, Rahul, in our tracker for almost like last 5 years, ever since the government was formed, and our tracker before that was very clearly showing a Congress government is going to be in place. So, barring the first couple of months, the numbers have not been encouraging for almost 4.5 years for the Congress, honestly speaking. And it's not just about the roti palatna, it's also, and also not just about the structural problem which Amitabh just mentioned. It has a lot to do with how the Congress has managed its overall show, in Rajasthan. So they got a mandate. Unfortunately, barring the last few months when both the warring factions actually got united, till that point of time, 9 out of the 10 headlines that came out of Rajasthan were politically negative headlines. So that remains essentially a big problem for them. In your brilliant graphics, Rahul, there are very, very interesting things to observe. If you look into the starting point of safe and, about safe seats, you will realize that BJP starts at 95 and Congress starts at 65. Basically, that's where starting points are. So basically, BJP has to contest about 105 seats out there and Congress has to contest 135 seats in order to cross the mark. So when you look into these things, 95 and 65, it takes you to 160, which leaves about 40 seats, actually, which precisely maps almost like your, the swing seats. If you look into the deficit of the Congress and the BJP, between them, there is roughly about 50 seats gap. So eventually, Rajasthan is going to decide actually among the 40 seats where the election is going to happen, even from without any survey, purely the historical trend data that you have just analyzed. And you have to figure out to see if Congress can win 35 out of these 40 seats that we are talking about, or if BJP can win 30 out of these 40 seats as the proportion goes. And Amitabh is damn correct on this one, that the Rajasthan data very clearly shows whenever the BJP wins, it wins with a landslide kind of thing. And whenever the Congress wins, it wins just about win. Although the matter of the fact is also there that last time's Congress stunted victory, as I may call, had a lot to do with strategically placed rebel candidates by Mr. Gehlot himself. Everybody knows, even the Congress would not officially like to talk about it, but that is what has resulted in the stunted victory of the Congress. And the similar kind of stunted victory that now the qualitatively speaking, the journalists are talking about, if that would be a problem for the BJP, though it also suggests that Ms. Vasundhara Raje has been quite pacified with the number of tickets that have been given to her supporters. So that should not be a problem with the BJP.
So now, Rohan Gupta, all these pundits and the trends taken together would seem to suggest that the Congress really faces an uphill task. That electoral data, history, the voting patterns of Rajasthan, and the fact that your top two leaders in Rajasthan have been daggers drawn for the last 4.5 years, all of it taken together suggests that you could possibly be headed for a big defeat.
I don't agree with that, Rahul. Since I cannot see the graphics on the screen, I assume that whatever safe seats you are talking about BJP, they are purely urban seats, majorly urban seats. I'll tell you, Rahul, if you see the performance of Gehlot government, and I have at almost all the debates I have seen, everybody, majorly the people are happy with the performance of the government. They are happy with the delivery of the schemes. The way BJP is changing their goalpost in Rajasthan, I'll tell you, because we have been talking about cricket, they started with 6 deliveries. The first delivery, they introduced ED. They raided the Vaibhav Gehlot and our PCC president. After what happened, you see the Narendra Tomar's son's video there. So that is nullified. Second, they questioned performance of Congress government. When they went to the people with performance of Congress government, one yatra was launched by BJP. They never got any resonance with the people of Rajasthan. Again, they changed the goalpost. They introduced Mr. Modi. मिस्टर मोदी दे थॉट दे लाइक कर्नाटका मोदी मोदी होगा, और पर जैसे कर्नाटका में हारे थे उनको डर हुआ कि अब मोदी जी हार रहे हैं तो उनको थोड़ा सा पीछे लगे, पोस्टर्स में से भी हटा दिया। उसके बाद में उन्होंने ये पॉइंट रेज किया कि कांग्रेस के लीडर्स, द लीडर्स ऑफ कांग्रेस पार्टी, देयर इज इन फाइटिंग। What happened after 3 days? You see that Vasundhara Raje was sidelined, and finally, when you talk about guarantees, Congress guarantees, BJP was saying that they are the revdi which has been given by Congress party. What happens when they launch their manifesto? They offer the gas cylinders. What is the mistake of people of Gujarat and UP? Why they are not getting gas cylinders 450? And finally, the fifth delivery. These 5 deliveries all were hit out of park by Congress party, and the last delivery is communal delivery. Whenever BJP is in problem, whenever BJP raises Hindu-Musliman issue, it means, Rahul, that they are going to lose the elections. Last point I want to make here, if you see the delivery of Gehlot Sarkar, they have introduced urban Manrega, the health scheme, the 25 lakh insurance scheme, the gas cylinders in 500 rupees. All these schemes have resonated well as far as the urban population is concerned. And I have seen many, many debates where the surveys were there. Urban population are very, very happy with Gehlot's government.
Okay, so you've made multiple points. I'll come back to you in a moment. But Shehzad Poonawalla, here are some points. As you talk to voters in Rajasthan, there is no palpable anti-incumbency against the Chief Minister, who all polling data suggests seems relatively popular. There may be more anti-incumbency against his MLAs, not so much against the Chief Minister himself. The Congress claims they've dealt with infighting. Sachin and Gehlot are no longer daggers drawn. That the BJP has its own infighting with Vasundhara Raje Scindia not fully on board. She's campaigning, but Upar says she's not fully in it, hasn't given a single interview, isn't really giving it her all, and very often she's been sidelined even in public meetings. And finally, that the BJP is trying to polarize because they know the typical trend of Rajasthan turning over a government every 5 years, this time may not likely hold. So respond to all of what you heard from Rohan Gupta. Shehzad.
There's a lot to unpack, Rahul. So let me have an opportunity to make my opening statement. Rahul, delivery और जादूगरी का असर पहले बेटे पर ही हो जाए. अरे भाई, यहाँ पर तो सुपुत्र वैभव बोलते हैं पापा की सरकार रिपीट नहीं होने वाली इन द रेड डायरी. और कितनी जादूगरी चली है सचिन पायलट पर, ये तो हमने देखा है 4.5 वर्ष. Now you are saying that there is no infighting, palpable infighting in the Congress, and everything is happening in the BJP. 4.5 years, this was the only government where not just Sachin Pilot who sat on dharna against his government. In fact, Ashok Chandna sat on dharna against his own government. You had Bharat Singh remove his hair against Pramod Jain Bhaya. You had Indraj Gujar, you had Ved Solanki speak out against the government, against atrocities on Dalits. You had Lal Berwa quit the SC Ayog post just recently. Are you telling me all of this is going to be ignored by the people of Rajasthan because they see one picture? And that one picture is also an incomplete picture. In Ajmer, Rajasthan Chief Minister went 3 days ago. All the seats were empty. Ask any person in Rajasthan, ask Rohit Parihar. Ask him the status of the campaigns he's doing. It's all empty seats. Now, having said that, as far as Vasundhara ji, if you would have only seen today's campaign, even pictorially, Vasundhara ji is smiling and all smiles. You could see the Bara rally that Pradhan Mantri had. It was till the end. Wherever the eyes could go, there were people filled there. And Vasundhara ji was on stage. And in fact, Vasundhara ji has been campaigning hectically, especially in the part I am stationed in, which is the Kota Sambhag. But having said that, let me tell you what has happened in Rajasthan. Rajasthan has two things that is happening. One is LJP, loot, jhoot and phoot ki sarkar. This government has delivered. I agree. Rohanji, it has delivered 18 paper leaks. It has delivered and ensured Jal Jeevan Ghotala. It has ensured transfer posting Ghotala. It has ensured Ghotala in Red Diary. It has ensured Ghotala in mining. And it has ensured Ghotala in COVID scam. झूठ की सरकार 19,500 किसानों को कर्ज माफी नहीं मिली. They were told they would get कर्ज माफी. And this government in the first page of its manifesto had said 99,000 crores would be waived off. They waived off only 5,000 crores. Thirdly, food ki sarkar. Now, food ki sarkar, I've given you instances of how they've been fighting. Kapda Phad is not happening just in Madhya Pradesh. It was virtually Kapda Nikal in Rajasthan. But last point, Rahul, why we will win? We will win because of two things, karm and dharma. What is karma? K for Kisan. Kisan are with the Kisan Samman Nidhi that Prime Minister has given them of over 13,000 crores. 75 lakh Kisan got it. Aam Aadmi. Aam Aadmi is reeling against the high rise price rise that has been given by Rajasthan government. Highest petrol prices, highest VAT
Okay.
on petrol, diesel, highest electricity prices are for Rozgar. Yuva have been given paper leak instead of Rozgar. 20% unemployment rate has taken place. And M for Mahila. Mahila have suffered the worst under the government of Mr. Ashok Gehlot, and Mr. Shanti Dhariwal and his ilk have got tickets who have said Mardon ka Pradesh hai, who have insulted the Mard
Okay.
and the Mahila of Rajasthan. And therefore, Karm and Dharm both are with us. Dharm, this way, I'm saying Dharm, why? Because I'm sitting in Kota. In Kota, PFI could take out a march. But you know, the Hindus could not take out the Yatra for Navratra. They could not take out Yatra for Shobha Yatra for Hanuman Jayanti. There was 144 imposed. When
Okay.
Dauta Sadhu gets
So,
killed, no compensation is given.
okay,
But for
yes,
Iqbal,
you're
50 lakhs is
basically
given.
trying to throw everything in it in the first response itself. So let's take it by and by. Rohit Pariyar, you're on the ground. You've tracked many elections. How many elections have you tracked, Rohit? How many decades have you been doing this?
Sound.
Jaipur since 97 onwards.
97. So you've been tracking elections since 1997. Give our viewers a sense, as best as you can, of all the polls that you've tracked in the last several decades. How is this similar? How is this different? What are you picking up on the ground, Rohit?
One thing, I have seen that, opinion polls often go wrong about Rajasthan. It's very surprising. It's a two-party rule kind of thing. And generally the margin is very thin. Trend they are able to assess, but the margin becomes very huge, And the swing is extraordinary. Like when Bhairav Singh Shekhawat lost, it was a huge swing, He got only 36 seats and Congress got 156, which Gehlot says that this time also is our target. And then when Vasundhara Raje came from 156, Congress was reduced to in 2003, rather less, in 56 seats, out of they lost 100 seats, and BJP gained so many, they got 123 seats, 120 plus. Similarly, next election from 120 seats, BJP gets reduced to just 76, and Congress is just marginal, So as it was pointed out, like whenever BJP is winning in the last election, they are making records, 120 plus, 163, and when Congress after that, Congress was not able to get even a simple majority. They have been able to form government, but not getting even a clear majority, 96 seats, 100 seats, you need 101 for a simple majority. So the basic issue now is that, the difference now is that, this time we don't see that kind of swing that, BJP could get 163. So status benchmark is very, very high actually for BJP, They start from, okay, at least we will get 120, 125. That kind of confidence is there. When you mentioned about, like Vasundhara Raje, the way she was smiling, happy, I wish, both Prime Minister Modi and Vasundhara Raje had shown that kind of response in all the rally, then probably we would not have discussed these kind of things. It was clear cut. We could have said that BJP will win by 130 seats, 120 seats. So what goes against BJP is that, slight friction between, what we can see between Vasundhara Raje and the High Command. But that kind of thing is also for
No, so because that's
Congress
the X
also.
factor. How much subterranean damage could Vasundhara Raje do to the BJP's prospects? How unhappy is she in your view? And to what extent could her supporters, either overtly or covertly, end up damaging the official candidates of the BJP? I think the election really rests on the answer to this question, Rohit.
Yeah, she is half pacified, I won't say that she's fully pacified. Today, whatever happened in Anta, in that reason is that because Vasundhara Raje herself represents that reason. So it's a BJP's protocol. Wherever Prime Minister goes, when he went Taranagar, Rajendra Rathore was the leader of opposition. So he patted him also, and there was, we could make out that he made some joke also. They shared some kind of joke also probably. So that is a protocol BJP, we can't read much out of that. But if you say that whether Vasundhara Raje would be damaging BJP candidates, she's not able to convince quite a few rebels there to withdraw. Today, Bhavani Singh Rajabhat, quite close to, he was denied last time also ticket. This time also, so he revolted, and somewhere from Kota, he was in the field. So he has withdrawn and he has rejoined BJP now. BJP inducted him, but not at every place. Neither Gehlot nor Vasundhara Raje can actually, convince each of the rebels to withdraw. So I don't think Vasundhara Raje as of now in that mode, but she's not extremely happy also because she was not made into forefront. You can't find her at most of the press conferences. She's not that lead campaigner who is going to most of the seats. But yes, she's definitely going to the seats, which some say, were recommended by her, and those who have been inviting her and giving her due respect, publicly. That is what she also
Okay,
told me. That
so she's not fully unhappy, but she's not happy either. Amitabh
Absolutely,
Tiwari, how
absolutely.
much damage could these rebels do? Last time, the reason the Congress got 100 and not say 120, 125 was because of the fact that Gehlot had put up rebel candidates, or people around Gehlot had put up rebel candidates on seats where they didn't get their say. Where a pilot candidate got a ticket, they kind of damaged their prospects. So how much could that impact the end results?
See, others have a very significant presence in Rajasthan. Almost 20 to 25% vote share and 20 to 25 seats.
Which is much
also
higher than what is typically seen elsewhere.
Yes. However, others have a very poor track record of defending the seats. Others' strike rate of defending is not even 5%. Now with the BSP weakening, there is a split in the BTP app not being a factor. But rebels could damage the prospects of both the parties and different candidates. What we tend to believe is that if it's a Congress rebel, it will damage the Congress. But if the candidate is of the same caste, which is of the BJP, then it is likely to damage the BJP as well. So what has happened in the state is that there are 3 states which have broken the trend. Kerala in 2021, Punjab 2012, and Tamil Nadu 2016. Gehlot has taken lessons from all these 3 states.
What has he learned?
Number 1, he has launched a slew of schemes. The Amma model of 2016, from Amma Cement to Amma Canteen. Then he has launched an extensive PR campaign, just like Vijayan, management of COVID, etc. Correct. And from Badals, he has learned that we need to exploit the factionalism within the BJP. That also he is doing. So some of the rebels he must have been backing for sure. However, the schemes which he has launched are not cash transfer schemes. See, there is a difference between enrollment in a scheme and a beneficiary. People will use Chiranjeevi scheme when they get sick, but it has a very different impact from a Ladli Behna scheme, which is a direct cash transfer.
So Ladli Behna is better for elections?
Of course, because it is a direct benefit, immediate benefit. It is a beneficiary.
It's money in your pocket.
It's money in your pocket, whereas Gehlot is enrollment, potential beneficiary. So that's a big difference.
No, but the whole thing, Shehzad Poonawalla, is that the BJP made such a song and dance about freebies, about reveries, and BJP being fiscally responsible, the opposition, particularly the Congress, being profligate. If you look at your manifestos and the guarantees that you're now giving, you're doing exactly the same thing. So what's the difference? You've a center-right party then loses interest in fiscal prudence just because you need to prioritize winning elections.
No, Rahul, you can't say that, because if you look at our manifesto, we have targeted the areas which have been thoroughly ignored by this government, which is the MYK, the Kisan. For instance, what are we telling the Kisan? We are telling the Kisan that Bajra MSP in Haryana is 2250, which is the nationally prescribed MSP for Bajra. But because Mr. Gehlot has no intention to help the farmers, he gave them a MSP or a return of only 1200 to 1300 per quintal. We are going to ensure they get the MSP. We have promised bonus on wheat MSP, and we have told that the 19,500 farmers who lost their lands, despite the fact that the promise was made that their loan be waived, those people would get back some amount of money so that they are compensated for their lost lands. This is not a freebie. When we say freebie, it is giving electricity to all people without thinking whether they need it or not. On the other hand, the BJP says that if you pass the 12th standard, you are a scholar and you have somebody who has cleared 12th standard in a flying colors, then those girls, that very limited portion of girls, will get scooties so she can go to higher education. Is this the same thing as giving somebody who's as rich as Rohan Gupta 100 units free electricity? And by the way, Rohan Gupta can pay 11.5 rupees per unit, but Rohit Parihar and us, we were paying 5.5 rupees in 2018. Today we are forced to pay 11.5 rupees. Today Rohit bhai has to fill 1 liter of petrol for 109 rupees. बगल में उत्तराखंड है, उत्तर प्रदेश है, गुजरात है, वहां से 1 लीटर भरवा लो 97 रुपए का मिलता है. तो ये एक सिलेंडर देना, एक बात करना. अच्छा, now also, let me come to this factional fighting. By the way, you know, it is not just Sachin Pilot who has been revolting against this government. Do you know that how Mr. Govind Dotasara is also unhappy these days? And certain boxes and certain designs might be responsible for that. Rahul Gandhi had a fight with Gehlot in an election committee meeting, saying that we will not go by these tickets, we will go by what Sunil Kanugolu or some outsourced person will decide for the tickets. And Mr. Shanti Dhariwal, a big leader from Kota where I come from, he was given the ticket after being humiliated in the 7th list. Can you believe Shanti Dhariwal was given a ticket in the last list? If this is the confidence they have on Gehlot, by the way, is the sitting chief minister, has not been declared as the chief minister face. In Madhya Pradesh, Kamal Nath, who's not the sitting chief minister, has been declared. So
no, but let Rohan Gupta respond to that. The Congress very ambivalent about the leadership status in Rajasthan. Ashok Gehlot not being projected despite being the incumbent chief minister. Neither has Sachin Pilot been projected. You've promised that you'd make him chief minister, but you haven't projected him, which essentially means that the voters in Rajasthan don't know. If you'd presented the fresh face of Sachin Pilot, maybe you would have been able to deal with some of the anti-incumbency, but you were so scared of the damage that Gehlot could do that you couldn't make that move.
Rahul, first of all, the way BJP spokesperson was talking for Congress party, I think उससे आधा ध्यान भी खुद की तरफ रख लिया होता तो ये हालत नहीं होता. See, they were questioning Congress reveries. They were saying the people's schemes, the welfare schemes as reveries for so long. You know, they were criticizing Congress for giving the guarantees. Now they are compelled to offer the same kind of promises to the people of Rajasthan. When we offered gas cylinder as 500 rupees, all these people, they came on debate and questioning how it is possible, it is not possible, it will spoil this, that. Now they are offering at 450. Why? So when we offer something to people, that is reverie. When you offer jalebi, then why are you offering jalebi? If you are against our reverie, you don't offer jalebi because your thing is jalebi because it goes round and round and round. You will never deliver it. What is the mistake of people of UP? What is the mistake of people of Gujarat? Why not get cylinder? When you are in central government, why you are going to states and offering reveries?
Let Shehzad respond to this. If these aren't reveries and they aren't linked to elections, give them in the other BJP-ruled states as well, Shehzad Poonawalla.
I can also ask that what is the fault of Himachal women that you're not giving for 500 rupees there? What is the fault of Karnataka women you're not giving for 500 rupees there? In fact, in Himachal, they promised 200 units free, they increased the electricity tariff. और वो 1500 रुपए दिए क्या हिमाचल की महिलाओं को? सर वो कर्नाटका में दूध के दाम भी बढ़ा दिया आपने. क्या दिया आपने कर्नाटका में बिजली के दाम बढ़ा दिए. Look, Rahul, I'll tell you why we are giving it for 450. By the way, Modi ji is giving the Ujjwala. Ravanji, I did not disturb you. Modi ji is giving every Ujjwala Ubhokta cylinder for 600 rupees. Here, Gehlot ji is giving for 500. One cylinder he has given and he's taking credit. अरे भाई साहब अगर इतना ही देना है तो दूसरे स्टेट्स में दे दो. Here it is the highest inflation. Ask Rohit ji, ask everybody else. Rajasthan is number one when it comes to inflation. It registered 9%, 9.5% inflation in July, 8.5% in August, much beyond the national average. And therefore we have taken a decision that to the BPL families we will give it for 450 rupees because the Ashok Gehlot government has reduced them to unemployment of the highest level, given paper leaks to the youth, not given any employment, and they have given extraordinary mehengai to the people of Rajasthan. That's why they're giving them.
You know, I want to show our viewers a snapshot of some of the comments, to give you a flavor of some of the issues in this assembly election. Sit back and watch some of the comments made by key political players who are out in the heat and dust of the campaign and the key issues that they're trying to highlight during their speeches. Take a look.
इसका रिवार बन जाएगा, सरकार रिपीट होगी कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी में. क्यों? इसलिए कि अच्छा काम किया कोरोना के अंदर. तो मैंने कहा कोरोना में सरकार रिपीट हो भी गई. तो मैंने कहा हमने तो जो काम किया कोरोना के अंदर, बिलोड़ा मॉडल हमारा दुनिया में पहुंच गया. मोदी जी जो है, क्या चुनाव के बाद मोदी जी आके यहाँ सड़कें बनाएंगे, स्कूल खोलेंगे, कॉलेज खोलेंगे, तहसील खोलेंगे, क्या काम करेंगे वहाँ करके? खाली अपने नाम के वोट मांगना, ये गुमराह करना पब्लिक को.
इस तरीके से उन्होंने 5 साल शासन चलाया. वो लोगों के बीच में शासन नहीं किया, उन्होंने आपसी लड़ाई में ही समय गंवा दिया और भ्रष्टाचार चरम सीमा पर पहुंचा. विधायकों को खुश करने के लिए भ्रष्टाचार की छूट दी गई. प्रशासन नाम की कोई चीज नहीं रही. और जैसा मैंने कहा कि नियत में खोट आने के कारण राजस्थान को बहुत बड़ी चोट लगी. ग्राउंड रिपोर्ट ये कह रही है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी स्पष्ट तरीके से चुनाव जीत रही है और एक तरफा चुनाव हो रहा है और कांग्रेस बैकफुट पर चली गई है.
I still believe that people think the Congress is a better option and the BJP is in a complete disarray. What stopped the BJP from giving this? In fact, what stopped the BJP from making the gas cylinder not 1100 rupees? It reached, the highest point ever. So price rise inflation really have been going through the roof. unemployment is a big issue. And to my mind, all these things are not going to gel with the people because they've had 10 full years to implement this at the national level. They've had governments in other states. It's only because we are doing some things they're trying to project the same sort of ideas, but they're not getting any traction amongst the voters. That's my sense.
65 lakh people are receiving gas connection in Rajasthan. Only 14 lakh got registered with Congress, which means the Congress will give only 14 lakh people, those who are in a way accepting Congress membership. Is that how government of Rajasthan?
You're saying it's a bribe.
It's a bribe. It's an absolute bribe. Bring land to all the Maulvis. It is appeasement. If you say we are offering pattas and land to all the religious teachers, we can understand it. Hands down, भारतीय जनता पार्टी झोटवाड़ा में बिल्कुल निश्चित रूप से जीत रही है. हमारा कोई प्रतिद्वंदी नहीं है.
The biggest X factor in Rajasthan, and this would be the case in Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh as well, is the extra women vote. Now, I want you to look at this data compiled by the India Today Data Intelligence Unit, which looks at how women vote has actually gone up. Relative to the last election, 2% more women voted this time in Madhya Pradesh. It was 74% in 2018, went up to 76%. If you go back a few elections, in 2008, women voter turnout in Madhya Pradesh was only 66%. So from there, went up to 70 in 2013, 74 in 2018, and 76% now. 78% men voted, 76% women voted. Now, this is 2% more than the last time. Now, who will this 2% extra vote help? And this is not just in Madhya Pradesh, even in Chhattisgarh. If you look at the data, now you've got a situation where men and women are voting in almost equal numbers. In 2008, 69% of the women voted versus 72% of the men. So that's a 3% plus gap, right? If you look now, men is 76.4 and women is 76.2. And if you go seat by seat, in Madhya Pradesh, female voter turnout exceeded male voter turnout in 34 out of the 230 seats. More women are now voting in 34 seats than men are. Amitabh Tiwari, how much of an X factor could this women vote be in Madhya Pradesh, in Rajasthan, and in Chhattisgarh?
It's a big X factor. In Rajasthan, in 2018, the women turnout was more than men by 1%. In Chhattisgarh and Telangana, the women are more in number than males, and the turnout is also higher. So it has a double impact. However, in Rajasthan and MP, the women percentage as percentage of the voter is lower, but a higher turnout compensates for the low number of voters. So that's why BJP's campaign on Nahi Sahega Rajasthan is focusing at the poor track record of Ashok Gehlot in women's safety. NCRB data shows in number of rapes committed, Rajasthan is number 1 for the past 3 years. So that's a big issue with the women voters. We've seen in UP how an improved law and order situation led to a significantly higher support for BJP, almost 4% compared to men. So that's a key factor, and we'll have to look at it.
No, so Yashwant Deshmukh, despite the anti-incumbency, if the BJP thinks they have a chance in Madhya Pradesh, it's because they are banking on the extra women voters, that this Ladli Bahina scheme will help them beat the Congress because you put money in the banks of women beneficiaries. How much of a game changer do you think these women voters could be? Law and order problems in Rajasthan and the fact that the BJP is giving direct benefits, which they hope will ensure more women come out and vote for them.
Well, it has been a game changer for the BJP, at least in the last 10 years for sure. We have a historical trend from our data which has proven that, you know, more women have always voted for the Congress at large in the last 30 odd years, but it has changed in the last 10 years. And BJP's strategy of wooing not just the female voters by their schemes, by the Labharti Pariyojana, as you may call it, but Uttar Pradesh elections have shown that law and order remains a really big issue for the female voters. And many people wrongly diagnose the UP toilet construction scheme in UP as an issue of sanitation, Rahul. which was totally wrong. It is not just an issue of sanitation, it was an issue of law and order, security for females against the sexual crime. That became a big issue in UP election. That's why BJP got their votes. So yes, female votes, as research has proven, our data has proven time and again, that they vote beyond caste and religious equation.
And they're a very strong vote bank. Rohan Gupta, they've helped the BJP in UP, and the BJP hoping women, and because of all the schemes of the Modi government, that they will be able to beat the Congress in Madhya Pradesh and potentially even in Rajasthan, because more women are voting beyond, as Yashwant says, beyond caste, beyond typical caste identities. They're choosing to vote for whoever they think can keep them secure and prosper.
See, Rahul, you are absolutely right. When it comes to women, price rise, inflation is the biggest issue, which is touching each and every woman. At the same time, women's security. You see the situation of Madhya Pradesh, the same BJP is talking about women's security. What is the situation of women's security in Madhya Pradesh? It is really bad to worst. And that is why when we talk about guarantees, whether I was in Karnataka the whole election, let me tell you, Rahul, the major reason why Congress party won in Karnataka is women. We offered the free bus ride to women. All the women, they went to all the religious places and they are really very, very happy. So this is what I am trying to tell you. When it comes to women, women's security and inflation, these two are the most important issues, and Congress party has ensured to address both the issues in all the guarantees.
Okay,
and we have delivered that in our states.
Okay, let
saying,
Shehzad respond to this, that yes, women are important, but it doesn't mean that they'll only vote for you. Karnataka showed that women can vote for the Congress as well. So while, yes, their vote going up is a very important factor in the elections, as it will be in Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, it doesn't mean that that vote is coming your way. Don't take them for granted. Shehzad Poonawalla.
We are the last persons too, but if indeed women's security was an issue they worked on in Rajasthan, convince not me, convince Divya Maderna. What was Divya Maderna's statement? I am not safe, forget the women of Rajasthan. Rajendra Guda, he was a minister, he got up in the assembly, he was kicked out from the ministry for raising the issue of women's safety. In Karoli, Bhilwara, Dausa, Hanumangarh, Pratapgarh, the incidents that have happened on minors, just yesterday Nagaur, a minor has been raped. In Dausa, where Priyanka ji went, 4-year-old was raped, and the policeman was being saved. And I'll tell you one important issue which doesn't happen in any other state, Rahul, and give me 20-30 seconds more, Rohit will confirm. You know, in Rajasthan, there were not one CM, there was 90 CM. Everyone CM. Because of this 90 CM problem, every person, when his person got caught in a rape charge or a balatkar or a molestation, would call up the thana and say, "Tu mere aadmi ko pakdega, chhod usko." This happened with Joharilal Meena's son. He was accused of raping a Dalit minor. He was let go. POCSO court had to intervene. It happened with Mahesh Joshi's son. No FIR was registered. Even Divya Maderna raised that issue. And because of this 90 CM issue, the women were unsafe because everyone was saving their own rapists. It was a balatkari bachao. We are promising the women of Rajasthan that we will have anti-Romeo squad like Yogi ji has started for you women in Uttar Pradesh, and we are promising the women of Rajasthan every district will have a Mahila Thana, and if a rapist does rape, we will not give him balatkari bachao, we will break his house with the bulldozer.
Okay.
That is our commitment which we have done in
Rohit
Uttar Pradesh.
Parihar, last answer. Who do you think women as a vote bank are more likely to lean towards on the 25th?
You have asked a very pointed question. See, definitely there has been anti-incumbency on the crime front, against women, against Ashok Gehlot. He made registration of FIR compulsory, but he could not anticipate the fallout of it, and he couldn't counter, how to go about it when there was a spurt in the crime FIR registration. His defense that, it's a free registration, that is why it is happening. He couldn't counter it effectively. That is why he has gone for this LPG subsidy, power subsidy, mobile phone, even, only after 10% of the women could get that, out of 1.4 crore. He has tried to counter that also. But BJP, we must say, that has been successful in making crime, law and order a big issue for past 1.5 years. I could see at every press conference, whether it's leaders from Delhi or state, they've made it a big issue because women voters are very crucial for them. So if you ask, it's a 2% increase in the turnout compared to the men. So maybe it won't go to Gehlot just because, he is giving them freebies, Women are slightly upset with him also. on that law and
Okay,
order
so you're
issue.
saying they're upset because of law and order and crime in Rajasthan has been a particular issue. Will that pinch Mr. Gehlot? We will know on the 30th when we bring the results of the exit poll, and before that we'll be doing our string of polls, but all of that is really internal data. But I want to thank all our guests for joining us. This was an illuminating conversation. We kept the rhetoric low and the data focus high, and that's always useful, which is why we do this political stock exchange, very different from what you get to see on typical news TV. So thank you for your time, thank you for your insights, and thank you for your trust. Goodbye. Good night.